Hey guys, this is Gene Cash with another video on crypto mining, and in today's video I'm going to be building a CPU rig for Raptoreum. I have here a PSU. This is a 850 gold. Obviously this is an overkill for just CPU, but eventually I am going to be adding more GPUs on my rig. CL14 RAM. This motherboard is an ASRock Pro 450M, and obviously the CPU, this is the 3900X. And lastly, we have the SSD card, and this is 120 gigs. You could go with 64 gigs, whatever is cheaper, but obviously this cost me about $22 on Amazon. Before we start building the rig, I actually want to give you an update of what's going on here. From last video, I only have 3 GPUs, and so far I have technically 15 GPUs right now. So I have grown a bit since then. So I do have a 3060 Ti, a 3060 regular, a few 6600s. I also have some 4 gigs cards over here. These are 1650, and I believe this is a 570 or 580, a 580 I believe. This is the 3060 right here, and a few 1660 supers. And down here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rigs just doing CPU mining. This is the 2700X, Ryzen 2700X, and these are Ryzen 3900X. Also, these computers over here, these are Intel. Obviously, as we know, Intels are not the best for CPU mining, but I have these computers also CPU mining Raptoreum. I actually started doing Raptoreum with my Intels, and then in the past 2 weeks, about 3 weeks, I upgraded to 3900Xs. For the power supply, I have these EVGA. Like I said, this is a 750 gold. This is actually a little bit overkill, but I'm gonna be installing some GPUs on these rigs. So it's gonna be GPU and CPU mining as well. Another 750. This is a 550. This one is an extra PSU that I had. It's actually bronze. And I have another 750. So for this rack, I actually got this rack on Home Depot, and I'm gonna be installing all my GPUs on this rack. So no more building GPU frames. This is a lot of work, and I prefer just to put my GPUs up in here. So for power, as you can see in one of my videos, I installed a 2-pole 30 amp breaker. This is 240. I ran a line here. I installed this meter, and this is a 240 PDU. So this distribution unit is actually powering all my units over here. And so far we have about 11 amps. I am gonna maximize it at about 24 amps. So we have to go with the 80% rule. Obviously 30 amp breaker, 24 amp maximum that we're gonna be using in here. And obviously these are additional parts that eventually, these are motherboards that I have taken from old PCs, and eventually I'm gonna be using it once I fulfilled all these with GPUs. I do have some risers in here, some GPU risers, which I am gonna be installing, as I have 2 more graphic cards here, and I wanna put these 2 graphic cards in here, and these are the 6600s that I have. And with that said, let's start the build. So this is a 3900X. Go. We're gonna apply the thermal paste. I actually like to spread it around, but the main parts I'm gonna be applying thermal paste is this section over here below the Ryzen logo. There we go. I'm happy with that. So the CPU fan. So the first clip. I'll turn the level. There you go, that's the CPU installed and the CPU fan. So now for the RAM. For this specific motherboard, I'm going to be installing the RAM in this slot and this one. So let's do this first. But every motherboard is different. Just make sure you read your manual. So this is the same motherboard as this one. So I already have a good idea of where my memory should be going. So now let's use one of these SATA's wire and install the hard drive. I like using this one. This I can install anywhere around here. Most likely the motherboard will recognize where you install the hard drive and will boot based on that. There you go. Pretty easy. Now for the power supply. So one more thing, I am going to be using a GPU in order to actually view the display. So I'm going to be installing one BGA wire. Okay, so start first, the motherboard. That's locked in. Next is CPU. There you go, that's the CPU. And this is for the hard drive, or the solid state drive. There we go. So before doing anything, I am going to be mounting this motherboard on this shelf. And this shelf came from one of these shelves. These are some plastic shelves that I got from my local hardware store. And I took the platform and technically mounted all the motherboards on these platforms. And the way that I did it, I used these standoffs. And here we go. I'm gonna be mounting it somewhere around here. So. I'm gonna put this right here for now. Carefully put the motherboard down. Okay guys, so as you can see, these standoffs are all completed, and from the other side you have some nuts that's actually holding them in place. Now I could put the motherboard on top of here and everything will align perfectly. There you go. Okay, so now everything is ready. As you can see, everything is attached and the motherboard is not moving anywhere. So for now, we're going to be installing this on the rack. I'm going to be using this. Oh, it's here. So that's the power. So let's make the connection. So for this PSU, there's no switch to convert 120 or 240. So in this case, you just plug it in. The PSU itself makes the correction. So now we can turn it on. First thing first, let's turn this on. Let's use this extra graphic card that I have. This is only to display and set everything up. Okay, so this should be the wrong connection here. Let's figure it out. Okay. Oh man, stupid mistake. I forgot to turn on the power on the other side. So it's connected here, but it's not connected here. Of course it's not gonna turn on. So here, let me select this one. Now it should turn on. You see? Stupid mistake. Very simple mistake, and you can last a few minutes troubleshooting. There you go. So the keyboard. Okay, so I'm having issues with my CL14 RAM. So I'm gonna be swapping this CL18 into here, and I'm gonna enter the BIOS and see if I can make some changes and have this working. Okay, so I swapped the CL18 RAM. I used it from this rig, and I removed the C14 RAM. And I think that's the issue, so I'm gonna turn it on and hopefully it will turn back on. Hey guys, so I actually figured it out. So the standoffs are actually pretty short, and the GPU did not fit in all the way. So that's why the motherboard was giving me an error, and I had to get a riser, and now everything is working. So here I got the BIOS open, and I'm gonna be doing all the settings. So first we go to advanced. This is a very different motherboard, so bear with me. Okay. Hey guys, so for some reason the CL14 RAM is being rejected by this motherboard. I had to install the CL18 RAM, which is a 3600, and everything is working. So for now, I'm gonna leave it that way. If you guys know of any troubleshooting that I could do, I tried to install or enable the XMP, but nothing works so far. And now I'm just gonna connect the Ethernet wire and let's start mining. Oh, by the way, this is my mini Doge. So this is the rig. Let's see if it goes online. So the number of threads, in this case, we're gonna do 23. It's 24 in total. You wanna have at least one thread available to run HiveOS. So threads 23, tune full true, and donation 0. So those are the configurations we're gonna be adding. Okay, all right guys, so it's all set, it's mining. Now we're gonna see what's gonna be the average. I'm gonna leave it a few days to see what will be the average. As you know, Raptoreum is very volatile. The hash rate is not constant like GPU mining. So we will see in a week from now. Alright guys, so if you enjoyed the video, please like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Also let me know what settings are you using. I also want to see what's going on with my motherboard that is not something that's the CL14. So up to the next video guys, see you later.